to look back at it and review. So welcome to the First Nations Launch Rocket Competition for 2022. We are so glad that all of you have chosen to submit an NOI and have been selected to be a part of the competition. We get really excited, and we are excited to have so many returning teams from last year, returning teams from 2 years ago, and then the new teams that have joined us as well. And we'll go over that in just a few minutes. And come on, I'm like, which one of my slides is working here? There we go. So just a quick overview. We will be going over welcome, introductions, competition overview, reports, scoring, prizes and awards, recruitment, resources, reimbursements, patch contest, and IAM-FNL. So I want you to meet the team. So as part of Wisconsin Space Grant Consortium, there is myself. I am the Assistant Director for WSGC, and I am also the Program Director for First Nations Launch. Kevin Crosby, who is our director, is not with us today, but he, is my right-hand man, and I'm his right-hand gal as we promote this program and just do everything that we can to make it a great experience for each one of you. Coming new to us in about 1 week, less than 1 week, is Sarah Parker. She is our project coordinator, and she's joined us a little bit earlier. Sarah, do you want to introduce yourself just real quick?
Sure. My name is Sarah. I got my master's in astrophysics at the University of Missouri. I've been funded by WSGC in the past when I was going to college in Wisconsin, and I'm very excited to be joining the team.
Excellent. Thank you, Sarah. And she has been part of our statewide rocket competition program, so she has built and flown rockets herself, which makes me really excited. And then we have Connie Engberg. Connie, do you want to introduce yourself, please?
Hi, I'm Connie. Welcome, everybody. And I've been with First Nations Launch for about 4, maybe even 5 years now. And I will be helping you with any logistical problems or questions that you have. Things like applications and travel when you come here, all that kind of stuff. So also, if you joined us late, if you could please in the chat, just let me know what school you're from. That would be helpful. Thank you.
Thank you, Connie. Not with us today is Megan Dollar, and she will be assisting us with some of your payout reimbursements. So, and we'll go over this in a little bit, but she's kind of the second step. Once you turn everything in to Connie, she'll be the one making sure that your payments get sent into our business office and get paid. Then there's our First Nations Launch team, and we couldn't do it without these folks. And so first up on the docket is Frank Noble, who is our technical coordinator from Wisconsin Tripoli Rocketry Association, and they are our host for launch weekend. Frank, go ahead. You want to say anything? You're on mute.
Hi, everyone. Frank here. Yeah, if you have any problems, technical questions, I'm here for you for rocket design, propulsion, and your simulations.
Very good. You are so welcome. And next is Genevieve Benali. She's not able to be on today due to her work conflict, but she comes to us from Raytheon. She's level 1 certified, and we are just grateful that she's with us. She will be the individual that will be working with our judges, but also she will be administering all of your reports and getting you the feedback that you're going to want after they've been judged. Lastly, on this group is Mark Abatosaway. He's the advisor liaison, and he works with Spirit Aero Systems, and he's not only with our admin team, but he is an alumni. Mark, do you want to introduce yourself, please? A little bit better than I did.
Anin, Mark Abtaswa. I'm Mark. I'm Ojibwe First Nation from the Andikamnakaning First Nation in Canada. Yeah, Christine, I build rockets. I flew rockets as a student, led the University of Minnesota team not just with First Nations launch. I competed in this NASA Student Launch Initiative and I've mentored at the Spaceport America Cup. So I'm here to support the advisors and the students and the mentors and anyone else who needs help with rocketry or engineering. I'm a structures engineer at Spirit Aerosystems.
And that is correct. So Mark, great asset to the team and primarily focuses on the advisors and the mentors, whereas Frank is, really, like he said, working with some of those technical components. And Genevieve is all of the reports that are going to be due. Also, you'll meet these two gentlemen at our launch weekend and possibly at our some of our virtual events that we have, but Tripoli Rocketry Association, Bob Justice, he's from Illinois Tripoli. He works both of our launches that we host, and then Kevin Harnick as well. And so Kevin and Bob also assist us when we have our virtual rocket workshop certification courses. So they're a part of that as well. The challenge judges have not been announced yet, but we will let you know who they are just for your own information. If you're new with us for the first time, the judges will come from NASA centers. So we know that Kennedy Space Center is always represented, but we will have individuals that will be helping from Goddard to Glenn, from Ames to Propulsion Labs. So we have folks all over. We have individuals from Raytheon, Sandia Labs, and we try to get as many people as we can to be involved with our program that are individuals that are in industry, so that students have somebody to, number one, look up to, but also reach out to and make those relationships with. And then our NASA contact, who is the project activity manager for First Nations launch at the NASA level. Her name is Shanessa Jackson, and she has just joined us. And so we are glad that she is with us. Shanessa, are you on by any chance? I didn't look and see. No. Okay. So next up, Connie.
Hi, everybody. So just letting you know what teams we have joining us this year. And this year we have a new challenge called the Gateway Challenge that starts with an NOI that's due in December. So if you're joining us today and you haven't actually submitted your notice of intent, there's still time to do that if you want to be a part of the Gateway Challenge teams. And those teams are College of Menominee Nation from Wisconsin, Colorado School of Mines from Colorado, Leech Lake Tribal College from Minnesota, Little Bighorn College from Montana, and a new team, Northern Oklahoma College from Oklahoma.
If I can just add in, this list may not be complete in the sense that we are still accepting NOIs for the Gateway Challenge.
And the Moon Challenge this year, we have Le Coudray Community College in Wisconsin, Navajo Technical University, New Mexico, new team with us there, and then the University of Hawaii at Manoa in Hawaii. And the March Challenge teams this year, Fort Lewis College, Colorado, Northern Arizona University, Arizona, Nueda Hadassah Shanish, I'm probably slaughtered that, college from North Dakota, Queen's University from Canada, our one non-US team, University of California, Davis, California, University of California, Los Angeles from California, University of North Carolina, Pembroke, North Carolina, and University of Washington, Seattle from Washington.
Thank you, Connie. And one thing to note, and there is an opportunity before you send back your award acceptance material. If you have applied to one specific challenge, and after today's kickoff meeting, you as a team decide, you know what, I think we might be better suited for, or maybe we reach out to you, we can, we have a little bit of flexibility to make some changes between the challenges still. And so just, you can put something, you can chat it, or you can send us an email, either way. But just wanted to know that we have a little bit of flexibility. I know I've already done that with a couple of teams who have switched over from their initial notice of intent to compete in the very beginning. All right, next up, supply. What do we supply as a space, as First Nations Launch? So each team will receive $4,000. It is reimbursable. So you will spend the money and then you will send us an invoice and we will issue payment. And we encourage you to use that for project and travel expenses to Carthage College. And so the two reimbursement deadlines are March 4th and May 9th. We do two times where we issue those payouts. We will provide on launch weekend, every team will receive, through us paying, a maximum of 3 rooms, hotel rooms for 3 nights, and that is per team. So typically that would consist of, as long as what's available, right, would be a king size room for the advisor and then 2 queen rooms for students, so that you can, utilize that as needed. If you need more rooms than that, that will be part of your budget, and you would need to let Connie know that as part of the logistical plans that we have to make with the hotels. We will be providing Friday breakfast, which will be our kickoff welcome breakfast, lunch, and then Saturday lunch and dinner, and then you have breakfast at the hotel. Okay. We will be sending out next week. Each team will receive a low power rocket. That's like a little Estes rocket. And your team will be required to put that together and launch it prior to January 24th. So those of you that are in cold, snowy areas, we're going to highly suggest that you start planning now when you're going to get that done. And even if you want to, use that as an outreach opportunity when your team puts that together, and maybe you'll entice other students to become a part of your team. So those will go out next week and they will be sent to you. If you're a new team and you get a launch pad with it, make sure you keep that launch pad for future years. We send out the low power rocket every year because there may be new students on your team that have never seen a rocket launch. And so it's a great introductory way for them to be able to experience that. New schools will receive 2 rocketry reference books. Those rocketry books are called Model Rocket Design and Construction, Modern High Power Rocketry 2. They've been around forever in a blue moon, it seems like, but they're great resources. Keep them on your shelves. And I was so happy with UC Boulder because they had been gone for a couple of years, but they were still on the shelf. So good job, shout out, accolades, woohoo, UC Boulder. We will provide your competition ejection charges at launch day, and then also your motors and your motor casings. You will receive 2 reloadable motors of your choice and 1 motor casing. And then every team will receive feedback from us. So you will submit your design review review reports. They will go through a judging procedure on our end, and then our goal is that you will have that feedback back to you with a minimum of 1 week prior to the next report being due. So additional non-FNL support, and this is an important slide. It's the first time I've ever really addressed it, but what we're finding is, folks are so excited for you to be a part of First Nations Launch, they want to help as well. And so some of the ways that you can get additional funding for FNL is through your local space grant, through your academic institution, through maybe a student group, industry, and there may be more, and I just didn't think about it. So how do you manage that, and what do you do? So your funding should be from that non-FNL support should be above and beyond FNL funding. It's really important for our program that you spend our money, that you utilize that $4,000 for your equipment or your materials and supplies for the rocket and for your travel. Create your budget and spend it down. So then when somebody else wants to support you, what are some ways that you can leverage the additional funding that you've received. And so that may be for you to have additional team members travel to the competition. I know like UCLA usually has 10 or 12 individuals on their team. And so they can't fund everybody to travel. So this would be a good way for them to add individuals. Some of the mentors would love to be able to come to the competition, but that might not be a part of your budget. But that would be that additional funding may be a way to get them to the competition weekend. We give stipends to the advisors. We do not give stipends to the mentors. If that is something your team would wish to do, that's something you could do. Teams need tools, and sometimes you will have teams put that in their normal budget, but if not, that is something that you could add into what you're trying to get. We highly recommend that your Rocket Club has their own tools, because you need them all throughout the year. And then if they can be battery operated, even better, because they can go in a suitcase and you can bring it to launch weekend and you'll have it at the launch site. Leech Lake, if you're on, they're phenomenal. They always bring this big toolbox, and they're just a great team and lend them out to many people. But that's something you may consider as having a tool operated, a drill, just to be able to do a couple things that you want to be able to do while you're here. So that's something to consider. And then that traveling toolbox, something that can go on an airplane or in your car as you come to Wisconsin. Adding safety equipment, your PPE, it's not necessarily required on our end, might be required in your school, but if you're thinking about safety glasses, gloves, those kind of things, that might be a great way to build up some of the things that you need for your Rocket Club at your campus. And then if you wanted to have a Launch to Learn outside of what we provide, you want to do a Launch to Learn workshop at your school, that could be a great option for the money, and be able to bring your 6 to 10 students and take them through that rocket 101 build of a rocket, and have somebody local support that outside of your budget. And then maybe even getting your team members certified, right? So if your team members are certified, they're going to be more knowledgeable, and you're going to have more capabilities. And so level 1 rocketry, the motor, and the certification fee, that's about a $200 fee for each individual. Outreach events. I know that many of you, host and conduct the outreach events, but maybe you want to do something a little bit bigger. I think Charlie has, shared that from Fort Lewis College, they take the Estes rockets, they buy additional Estes rockets, and then they do an outreach on their campus, and that is part of their recruiting efforts as well. But that might be something to do even with a K-12 group within your local community. And then I know Chief Dull Knife College in the past, they have used additional funds they get jackets for each of their team members, so that the team members can put on each year's patch for the competition. So those are a few ideas that might work for some of the additional funding that you receive. Launch weekend. So April, and I should have changed that in my apologies, April 21st through the 25th. Oops, did not mean to do that. It's actually April 21st through the 24th, 2022. And so teams are going to begin to arrive on Thursday, April 21st. And if you basically feel like you are almost, 90%, 95% ready to fly, you don't have much left to do on your rocket, then I say you can come in anytime Thursday, and really you don't need to be ready to go until Friday morning for the welcome breakfast. However, if your team is struggling a little bit more and you just really need some extra time to get things put together, we will have a half day available for you to work on your rockets with our team. And we're there to help you kind of navigate and fix some of those issues that you might be having. And then the big day is, so on Friday, we'll have that kickoff. We're hoping to have some breakout sessions. We'll have help you learn how to build your motors and final inspections and your oral presentations. It is a long day, just heads up. We start at probably 8 o'clock in the morning and will most likely go to about 9 or 10 at night. It's full, it's packed, but we try to be mindful that this is about the time that many students have their final exams or leading up to it. So we try to compress and just make it easier for the students. And then on Saturday, we have our launch day, and then we will have a closing banquet at Carthage College. And so that'll be full of awards and a special guest speaker. So really get excited about the end of the day. And then Sunday would be our rain date. And if you want to get a certification launch in, you build a level 1 or level 2, you can bring it to our competition, and we set up a time that you can launch those and get certified. So timetable. Here we are getting ready. I'm trying to think. We are at November 2nd. So next week we start our webinar series, and we'll talk a little bit more about that down the road. But some really important webinars with professionals all throughout the country. So the ROCSIM is going to be hosted by an individual from Sierra Space, who also went through our local program and has been a mentor and helps out with FNL and also our statewide competition, and then was a part of the Rocket certification virtual workshops last year. A couple key dates. You all are expecting an award letter from me. I'm hoping those will go out tomorrow. There's been a couple changes, so I've had to postpone getting those out. So right now the date is November 15th. I may extend that a couple of days for you with my delay in getting the official award letter out to you, so you have time to get things through your campuses if needed. And then as you're developing your budget and your design, your proposal and your budget, the 16th is going to be a good day for the Mars and the moon, especially for you guys, just in that whole development process. And then, just really look through the webinar series. We have a grant management one, which is for those of you who are like, okay, how do I do reimbursements? How do I deal with my campus or prizes or things like that? We'll have an opportunity for you to ask questions, and we'll walk through some things with you. Okay. Key changes for 2022. So webinars, that's one of the big things. We'll have multiple webinars, and it's much more robust than it's been in the past. So we have the mentor one already. It is online if you need to refer to the slides. We'll be having one on ROCSIM, design reports, project management, grant management, structures, challenge design, avionics recovery, launch ops, and data analysis. So really our goal is to help equip and educate all of you so that you can be successful as you walk through this program. Fly sheet submissions are going to be required, and that's something that we'll talk about in just a little bit. We have new appendices in the handbook. And I'm adding this one, the next one in. It was required last year, but many of you didn't have the opportunity to participate because of COVID. But all teams are required to have a TRA, Tripoli Rocketry Association or National Association of Rocketry mentor with their team. And the key component to that is if you selected Mark Abatasaway or Frank Noble, we will be working with you to find somebody that is local to you. Mark and Frank are here to help and be a resource, but they are not the local mentor. And we want every team to have a local mentor that is certified. And then ROCSIM is required. So just thinking this through, and during our webinar, we'll go over this, but with ROCSIM, you are required to submit with the ROCSIM file, not OpenRocket, ROCSIM. So everything is going to be on the same platform for our judges and for our team. So students can receive their ROCSIM license. I believe it's like $20 or $25. Connie, you can correct me if I'm wrong. And in order to purchase it at a student rate for FNL, you put in your award number. So FNL 22 _, and then it'll be like 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, depending on which one you receive. But that will be your what's called a TARC number for ROCSIM. And then some of the reimbursements, and then we'll be having some training videos that I'll talk about in just a bit. So COVID-19. different people are at different places with COVID-19. We have some schools that are still not even meeting because of just how rampant the pandemic has affected their community. So we do want every team to still put together a COVID-19 safety plan, which includes launch site locally. So I think, just trying to think, far, Becky, if I'm not mistaken, and William, maybe they used, they had that. I think Carson, last year you had 2 different launch sites available, in case one didn't work out, you were ready to go to a second one. But you want to have a local launch site, a local mentor, and a local EEE or NAR prefecture that you're working with, so that if we have to go virtual when it comes to competition weekend, you've got a plan and you know where you're going. Okay, really, really important. So as we, again, work through the pandemic and always making sure that we're ready to make changes if needed, you'll have that you will always need to make sure that you are compliant to the launch site protocol. If we come to Carthage College, our protocol, and then making sure that we are providing virtual, hybrid, and in-person planning as needed. So as you plan, utilize team structures, right? Divide, conquer, and utilize individuals to be able to take you through the competition and have separate responsibilities. So if you cannot get together, you still have people in charge of what they are doing. Have those weekly virtual meetings, online lab books, log books. And if you have limited lab access, try and figure out what are we going to do about that. And I know Queens last year, university, they could not meet, and they were really having to be creative on how they were able to put together their rocket. And then key component here, do not begin building until you are at your CDR, your critical design report. Okay, we don't want you to waste time. We don't want you to have to go back over things. So really the build process starts at CDR. Okay, so Sean, are you on?
Yep, I'm on.
You are up, sir.
Oh, how's it going, guys? So I created a FNL dedicated Discord. And what Discord kind of allows you to do, it's kind of like Slack if you used it before. What it allows you to do is there's different voice channels and text channels in there for you guys to utilize, to collaborate, network with professionals, ask questions, receive information. So right there is the Discord link. It's still under construction. We're still building it up. But if you guys want to kind of take a gander around and kind of get familiar with it, there's different roles that you can select, whether you're a team member or an advisor or a mentor. And there are resources in there that are going to be populated for you to kind of grab really nice and easily. How it's set up as well is there are video. Can you place that link in the chat? Okay, I'm off of my phone, but if someone from FNL, okay, perfect. There is, it's set up right now where there is a voice channel where when you click on it, it'll populate your own room, and there's unlimited rooms that you can make. So feel free to use it as a platform for you guys to come in together virtually and collaborate with each other. Cool.
Excellent,
That's all I
Sean.
have for this slide. Yep.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And this is an experiment. We haven't used this before. It's brand new. We're doing a soft launch this year. So your engagement in the Discord will let us know whether or not this is something that we want to continue on in the future and how successful it is. So if you have suggestions, you have thoughts, Sarah is going to be the point person on this. She doesn't know that yet, but she's going to be the point person on that along with Sean, and the two of them are going to make sure that everything is up there for you. All right.
That's great. I'm actually quite familiar with Discord, so
That's what we thought. That's me utilizing resources really, really well. All right, so Frank.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Gateway Design Objectives. The teams are required to design and construct a dual deploy high power rocket from the following list. We're going to be using 3 different rockets from Lock Precision, the 4-inch diameter Phantom 348 kit, the Mad Cow 4-inch diameter Super DX 3 kit, and the Lock Precision 4-inch diameter Patriot kit. Pretty common level 1 type rockets. Teams may customize their kit with special add-ons provided by the manufacturer. That'll be by your request to the manufacturer. The pyro energetics of the Jolly Logic, when you become familiar with altimeters, shall be used for the main deployment recovery. There is no payload associated with this challenge, so it'll be pretty simple up and back down, with the focus being on a safe, complete selection, simulation, procurement, assembly, fabrication, and flight of the rocket kit. The rocket shall reach an apogee of 2,500 feet AGL. And as you can see in the flight profile for the Gateway, rocket is launched from the launch pad, which is controlled from launch control at the field. Rocket ascends, motor burns out. There's a coast phase as the rocket approaches apogee. And at apogee, we have a drogue chute, which is smaller than the main chute, which would be like anywhere from 10 to a 14-inch chute, depending on the rate of descent or the proper rate descent of a drogue chute. And then you will program your altimeter to deploy a chute no less than 300 feet AGL from the ground. And a main chute should be deployed for a nice, safe to soft landing. The Moon Challenge design objectives. The teams are required to design and construct a dual deploy high power rocket with GPS data logger aboard. The rocket shall reach an apogee of 35 to 4,000 feet AGL. Teams shall reconstruct a 3D trajectory of the rocket flight from the data collected from liftoff until landing and plotted against a satellite imagery map. The trajectory plot will verify a stable ascent, which you can tell by the graphs on the right-hand side. This flight will also require dual deployment. On the moon flight, we have the wrong flight profile, but it's pretty much the same, where we show the rocket ascending. The rocket should be transmitting and receiving data from satellites all around the world, and calculating the trajectory of the rocket, and at liftoff, altitude, and descent and landing. Same profile, apogee. We have the drogue chute, and the main should come out no less than 300 feet from the ground level. Next slide. There we go. The Mars Challenge design objectives. The teams are required to design and construct a dual deploy high power rocket with a cold gas thrusters system that controls the rocket's z-axis angular velocity roll rate during the coast phase of the ascent. At motor burnout, the thrusters shall be increased to the rocket's roll rate from 0 revolutions per minute to approximately 120 RPMs, and maintain this 120 to 240 RPM for about 3 seconds, and decrease it to 0 before the rocket reaches apogee. The gyroscope sensors and the internal camera is required to verify the roll rate was achieved. The rocket shall reach an altitude at approximately 3,500 feet to 4,000 feet AGL. Sounds like a fun one. Here's the flight profile of the Mars flight. As the rocket takes off from the launch pad, motor burns out. Then you may activate the roll rate with the thrusters. And just before the rocket reaches apogee, stop the roll rate as much as possible. As it approaches apogee or at apogee, the rocket deploys the drogue chute. And same scenario here with the main. Do not deploy the main no less than 300 feet from the surface of the landing spot. A safe and successful flight. The safe flight must be achieved At launch, stable vertical flight during ascent. Recovery systems must successfully be deployed. Rocket must be recovered in a flyable condition. Successful moon challenge flight must achieve also a safe flight and altitude of 3,500 feet to 4,000 feet, AGL, apogee. The competition criteria for all teams, all projects during the construction process must have a minimum of 1 scheduled virtual inspection with a designated safety officer. And this will be to be announced. All projects must be 90% constructed and ready to fly 2 weeks prior to the launch date. 90% equals the airframe, the motor mount, fins, payload, airframe, couplers, bulkheads should be permanently attached and probably ready to fly. All projects must be designed to enable the motor deployment charge as a backup recovery system at apogee. That is most important. Always design your rocket so you have motor ejection for added safety recovery. All final competition projects must have a documented flight stable RockSim simulation profile with their rocket. Photographs are required during the construction of the motor mount and fin fillet assembly process to ensure proper construction techniques have been adhered to. All projects must have an aerodynamic design. No odd rockets. Note, no flying pyramids, saucers, or spools. The center of pressure, which is the CP, and the center of gravity, which is noted with the CG, must be indicated on the rocket. Competition criteria summary. All projects will be judged on the design review, written and oral presentations, and predicted versus actual apogee and the flight. Bonus points may be earned through outreach efforts. Electronic payload bays will be judged on neatness and simplicity. This is just a little example there, which I thought was kind of a neat photograph. Mark, I think you got this one.
Yeah, hey, everybody. So I'm going to fill in for Genevieve with regards to the reports and the scoring and the judging slides here coming up. So the scoring overview, and we'll go quick. I think we still have something like 20 something slides left in the last 15 minutes. So I'll be quick. Any questions, feel free to email me. My contact information is on the WSGC website. So the scoring overview, there are 5 written reports that you have to turn in. This is for the Moon Mars Challenge. Gateway, there are no reports. Late reports are docked 20% per day. So, try and get them in on time. It's quite a big number to lose. You can also gain outreach efforts. By doing outreach efforts, you can gain additional 10 bonus points to your overall score. And then there are also 2 virtual presentations that you're scored on, and you're also scored on your flight and payload performance. Next slide, please. So written design reviews. So a little more detail about the design reviews. You're supposed to, their intent is to communicate the engineering and design effort involved. There's a little bit there about RockSim. Is that about the RockSim? Yeah, so this was what Christine was talking about earlier. So for the RockSim upload, or for the RockSim download and to purchase the license, see the handbook in the appendices. There's a lot more detail about how to purchase and install your RockSim. So you're just supposed to show the design and construction of your rocket in your design reviews. Reports make up 75% of your overall score. So you'll spend a lot of time on reports, but just remember that they make up a significant portion of your overall score. For each report, there's a template provided. So you'll find the link to that template on the WSGC website. For those who haven't been there, there's the site. Maybe Connie or Christine can put that link in the chat. And then there's a Zoom design review development webinar 2 weeks from now. It's optional. If you want to have a nice overview, we'll spend an hour discussing the design reports and the design review process. And as stated, Gateway teams do not need to submit written reports. Next. So new for this year, we're going to do some fly sheets, and this is for all teams, including the Gateway. So at each cycle, each of the design cycles, except for the last one, the post-launch assessment, teams will be turning in the fly sheet. So your proposal, your PDR, CDR, and FRR. So basically, the fly sheet is a summary of the technical specs of your rocket and payload, and it's best to fill out the fly sheet after your report is complete. So go through the template, write all your sections of your report. After your report's finished, you can look at the fly sheet. There'll be an example on the next slide, and you just fill out those specifications on the 2-page fly sheet. And don't worry at proposal stage, especially for the new teams. You may not understand a lot of the specifications asked for. Just fill out the ones that are in your report. So as you go along, the first fly sheet may be pretty empty. By the time you get to flight readiness, your FRR fly sheet, you should understand all of those specifications. So if you don't understand what a specification is, just ask. You can ask myself, ask your mentor. If you don't have a specification at that time, just leave the field blank, and that's acceptable. So here's an example of the fly sheet. So it's just kind of it's not a complete fly sheet, it's just the first half, but it just lists your vehicle properties. So you'd put in the name of your manufacturer of your kit. You'd put in the total rocket length. So they're just basically numeric values. You might ask for a vendor or a frequency, rocket locator, things like that. It's all rocketry components, basically. Next. And then virtual design reviews. So you'll have 2 virtual design reviews, one at PDR and one at CDR. These take place, I think, in February and March. It's a chance to summarize and present your written report. So there's a PowerPoint template provided again on the website. And then every team member should participate in the presentation. Presentation is limited to 15 minutes, so it's a brief presentation. I think there's 10 slides in the PowerPoint template. It's just kind of a high-level overview of your rocket. And then the judges and the rocketry admin team will be there to give you scoring and feedback on your presentation. And then at the time, each team will be given a time slot to attend. So that's including the Gateway. And then competition presentation, also known as the flight readiness review. So basically, this is similar to your virtual review, only it takes place in person on launch weekend. So there's a PowerPoint provided on the website, and every team member should participate. The presentation is limited to 10 minutes, and the judges only will ask questions in person following your presentation. Next. And then competition scoring. So as I discussed, the reports make up a good chunk, 75% of your overall score. So you can see the breakdown there. Each one of your written reports are basically 15 points. Your presentations are 5 points. And then your mission performance and your payload are 10 points each to round out the 100 total. And then don't forget the 10% for the outreach, the 10 bonus points or 10%. That's a significant a chunk of points to do an outreach in your community or in your high school. You could just buy some extra Estes rockets apparently, and while you're doing your launch, you could do a launch with other kids as well. So, and that's next. That's all for me.
Connie?
Okay, so the competition prizes that we award are listed here. Now, if you are participating in the challenge for Gateway, those first 3 prizes do not apply to Gateway. They're only for Mars and Moon, but the grand prize is $3,000 with an invitation to a NASA center. Second place is $2,000 and third place is $1,000. And then the other awards are the Aesthetic Award. That's for the team that has the rocket with the most innovative and professional appearance. Team Spirit Award is one that you will vote on for your peers. Helpfulness, cooperation, interactive spirit, and this is not just launch weekend, but throughout the year. Altitude Award is the team whose actual apogee is closest to the predicted apogee in the flight readiness report that you will be turning in. The Judges Award will be a team chosen by the judges as the team who met the goals of the program and exemplified hard work and determination. And then the Next Step Award is up to $15,000 for the team to travel with an invitation to student launch at Marshall Space Flight Center or Rock On at Wallops Flight Facility. The Outreach Award and Patch Design Awards are new monetary awards that were established last year. So the Outreach Award is $500 and the Patch Design Award is $100. And so what the Patch Design Award is that an individual or a team can design a patch. This is last year's winner. Pretty cool. And that doesn't have to be an individual. Like I said, it could be a team. And then the team advisor stipend is up to $1,000. And the advisor would have to meet the conditions of participation, including participating on launch weekend and being in Wisconsin. That can also be split with a co-advisor.
And as you can see, I forgot to put one award in. It is the Noble Award, and that's an additional one. And I believe Frank remind me that is based upon, you want to remind me?
Based upon a great virtual participation on communicating with your mentors and Wisconsin Space Grant advisors.
I will fill that in because we didn't have it last year because we were not meeting in person.
Right.
All right.
I'm texting somebody right now about it.
Okay, great. So First Nations launch teams, each of your teams should be comprised of, so the sweet spot is 4 to 16 members. We don't limit you to the number, but we find that's a real sweet spot for each team. And you should have your advisor. There can be a co-advisor, just so you know, if it's too much for just one individual at your campus, that the advisors can split the responsibilities. And so the advisor is responsible for meetings, telecoms, and helping to maintain that student-driven project, helping to find rooms at your campus, funding if that needs to be, something you have to take care of, or reimbursements through your college. They're going to help you with that. And if you are a new school and you are a new advisor, we can pair you up with one of the veteran advisors so that you have an additional resource and mentor. And hopefully that'll be something that will come up on Discord as well, where you'll be able to ask questions and get some real-time feedback from your counterparts. Team leads. Team leads are, we ask a team lead to be at the meeting, at all the meetings and all the telecons, and if they can't, to send a replacement. And also disseminate information. Now, Discord may help us a little bit getting information out, but typically when we send emails, we're only sending it to the advisor and the team lead, and the team then is responsible to disperse that information. So that communication and document submission is the role for the team lead. If you have a current team lead that you don't know that they're going to be able to do that, then I would suggest that your team consider a different individual for that role, because they'll be responsible for getting your design review reports up on the your grant management page on time so that your scores are not docked. And then Space Grant, contact your state Space Grant, and they may be able to help you in different ways. I'm going to give a shout out to Colorado, because when the need came for an advisor, Bernadette, you're awesome. And she is the advisor, and she's my counterpart in Space Grant at Colorado. So just thrilled to death to have her helping out, and what a great example of what the Space Grant family does. So team recruitment, how do you do it? You want to get others involved? You know, we've talked about a couple of things, you know, maybe having the Estes Rocket, et cetera, but have 5 to 10 minute presentations in the classroom or at a club meeting. Ask if you can attend it and talk a little bit about what you plan to do and build this high-powered rocket. You can do recruiting events. They can be online, they can be virtual. Reach out to faculty or ask for assistance. Many times they can help you figure out who to go to. And then tap into new applicant pools. I know for our statewide competition, you know, we're looking at you know, Women in Engineering, Physics Society, the DEIA groups. So think about what's on your campus and who you can reach out to get that recruitment information out to your student body. And then maybe you use the Launch to Learn workshop as part of that excitement and getting a level 1 certification as part of how you get folks to come to be a part of your team. If you have any ideas, throw it in chat. I'm sure others would like to hear your ideas over mine. We have a training series that's being completed. So we had started this. Unfortunately, the director passed away suddenly in May. And so we've recruited a new film crew and hope to have this launching out in January. And it will have an overview. And then avionics, recovery systems, rocket assembly, ROC-SAM, range and motor safety. And so we'll make these available to each of the teams. And I think it'll be a great resource for you in the long run. Launch to Learn rocket workshop. So right now we have completed the at Carthage College workshop. We are entertaining whether or not to have a virtual rocket workshop in probably January / February.
Chris,
Yes.
your
Yes.
slides aren't
Oh,
advancing.
sorry.
There we go.
Thank you. I was doing the wrong screen.
Next one, Launch to Learn.
Thank you. So with the rocket workshop, I encourage you to look if you are interested in a workshop, I would ask that you complete this form so that we know that you're interested, and that will help us decide if we are going to host a virtual workshop in the spring. Or if you want to have a workshop at your campus, you know, those are things that we can maybe consider. Okay. Frank?
Okay, we have optional certifications on launch weekend. You can also certify with your mentor at your local site where you want to choose. All student participants eligible for EEE membership and certification, required to purchase your own rocket. See Frank or Mark for guidance. So you have to have your own rocket to certify level 1 or level 2, not the competition rocket. Required to build a rocket individually, not a team effort. Bring 90% ready to fly rocket to the competition. Certification flights are on Sunday of launch weekend. EEE membership fees for level 1 certifications will be covered by donor. Level 2 certification test available at 8 a.m. on workshop day, April 24th, 2022. Level 2 certification test will be passed must be passed in order to fly the certified rocket for competition day. And EEE, or me and Bob and Kevin do have the test to do on certification level 2. It's a written test. The cost for the launch fee to certify is $10, cash only, and you must pay for a motor purchase. The last day to register for certification is February 28th, 2022. Links to additional information is at this EEE.org level 1 website. Next, please. Next.
So team scheduling, just encouraging all teams, get a calendar, whether it's Google Calendar, however, a Gantt chart to create a project schedule. That's going to keep you on task and help you to be successful. I will let you know over time that we found that if you don't do that, it gets really, you get really bogged down and behind come the spring. And so make that timeline, and whether it's budgets, whether it's, purchasing things, making plans, RockSim, get it on a timeline and calendar and planned out so that you guys are successful. And it's a great way to communicate with one another. And it can be simple, high level, or it can be very, very detailed, whatever the needs of your team are. And then have somebody responsible for updating that on a regular basis so that you don't lose things in the noise. And we have a project management webinar that will be taking place December 7th. And that will be hosted by Genevieve Benali. So tools and tips, that's on our website, and encourage all of you to utilize that page. We have from forms to training modules to, there's just a whole gambit of different things. And so that's in the chat. And I think that's a great resource for you as you navigate the competition throughout the year. And I bet you I keep doing this to the wrong person as I'm trying to put these in the chat. And I think, Connie, if I'm doing them to you, please make sure you copy them and put them in. Thank you. All right. And then the training modules will be set on that page as well. Mark?
All right, I'll go quick. I know we got 16 slides left, I think, or something. So we got 2 minutes. So I'm the advisor at Liaison, soon to be replaced by Discord. So this might be my last year helping you, and then a machine's going to help you after that. So FNL alumni engineer. I'm here particularly for the new advisors and the new mentors and the new students. Also support the veteran guys, not leaving you out. I'm still here, your resource, reach out to me. So what do? We do some retention. I can give you ideas how to maintain your team. Advisor mentorship, we talked about. I can pair you up with a veteran advisor. Outreach efforts, she can give you ideas of what to do for outreach, and next step opportunities and others. So as your team grows, and some of the veteran teams may be looking for, to move on to the next best thing or the next thing, NASA SLI and Spaceport America Cup and a few other rocket competitions. So we talked about having a mentor, AAA or NAR mentor. We did a great webinar on this last week. I hope you guys were there, and if not, hopefully there's a recording going on the website for that. That you can watch that webinar. So each team needs an advisor and a mentor. And Christine and I think explained why we need that mentor locally. So your certified mentor needs to be active AAA or NAR member. Their membership number will be required. They must be certified at or above the team rocket, so L2 or higher, and local to the team with access to a certified launch site. Because if we do go virtual because of COVID restrictions, we're going to require the teams to launch locally. So that is why you need a mentor. And the mentor does not need to attend the launch weekend. So there have been some questions about that. They can if the money allows it, if their time allows it, but it's not required. So don't let that deter a mentor from joining your team. That's all I got. Next.
Connie?
Trying to unmute there. Yes, reimbursements. You'll have 2 opportunities to do that in March and May. 2 ways to do that is either through your university or college quarterly invoices by your institution, or individuals can submit their reimbursements to us directly for their supplies as well as their travel expenses. Can you do the next slide, which also talks about reimbursement instructions? Okay. So just to make sure you're using the right forms and that you're doing it the correct way, notice at the bottom, there's links to expense forms and instructions. Please always look at the instructions before you submit these forms. It's not that unusual that we have to return things to get that corrected. And so you will send those to me, and I will pass those on to Megan. And of course, anything that's not submitted correctly will be delayed because we'll have to do a little back and forth. So please, again, read the instructions. All those links are under tools and tips on our website.
Perfect. Thank you, Connie. So patch contest, every year we do have a patch for the competition, and we use one competition patch. So the whole objective of this is that you're able to implement each one of the challenges in one patch. So it takes creativity. And so those will be due February 21st. We encourage you to have your team members to put together a design and submit it. And as Connie said, here are the two that we've had for the past couple of years. And it's fun. And anyways, it's kind of a great thing to have. All right. And then IMFNL, that's kind of the hashtag to use. Please utilize pictures, videos, create them, share them, because we want to tell a story about First Nations Launch, this great program, and then be able to utilize your testimony, your stories to encourage others to become involved. And then as you submit them, we may feature one of those during the launch weekend. Questions, and my apologies for 2 minutes over. We'll probably give just a couple minutes because I know all of you have to go and get going with your evening, but any questions from anybody?
What if we wanted to change from the gateway into the moon?
You can send me a note and try to get that done today. Is that what you're thinking, Philip? You guys want to do?
I'd have to talk with my advisor. She's against it, but I think we can do that.
So I am, you can feel free to send me a note, and you can also help. I'm sure, Mark or Frank can be a great resource for you too, to kind of try and figure out if your team has that ability and you have a full team already. One of the big things for Gateway is if you think that you're not going to be able to get out of the gate right from the beginning with a full team to meet the proposal and the PDR schedule, and you're not going to be able to fully recruit until January, and you really need that one semester design, the Gateway Challenge is the best challenge for you. Or if you have all brand new team members and nobody with rocket experience. But if you have any engineering at your schools, et cetera, you should be able to work within the Moon Challenge. But again, Mark and Frank can be assistants, and they can feel free to your advisor can reach out to them as well. Okay.
Yeah, we should talk, Philip.
Okay, all right.
Hey, Christine, the Moon Challenge on the handbook showed that it was an altitude of 3,000 feet, but these slides were saying 3,500 to 4,000. Which one is it?
It is what is said in the handbook. And that is always what I'm going to say. And my apologies, I missed it in my last review at 3:45 as everybody was throwing everything back at me. So I missed it. So my apologies. But I'm just going to keep going back to, if in doubt, handbook, 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 handbook. Okay. And what we will do is, if we make updates, we highlight the update, and then we put a revised date on the front of the handbook, and we will let you all know when those things happen. Okay. But good question. I just need more hours in a day. Any other questions? If not, I do want to, oh, go ahead, Connie.
Yeah, I was just going to emphasize again that all of our webinars and all of these meetings are on the website afterwards. We record them, other than possibly like the advisor meetings, but everything else will be on there. So if you have team members or advisors that miss a meeting or webinar, you can always go back to that.
Thank you.